If an alien abducted me, took time out of his or her day, to beam me up into a spaceship, just me, not anybody else in the neighborhood, I would make love to them, because that means I was chosen.
Open the door.
I just rang your doorbell because I have a couple questions for you. What? Are you sure?
Welcome back, Creepy Crew, to another spine-chilling episode of the Creepy Collective. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on our latest content. Today, we have something new and thrilling for you. But first, a quick reminder about our exciting giveaway. Submit your creepiest stories for a chance to win $100 in cash. All the details are in the description box below, so don't miss out. Now, without further ado, let me introduce our host for tonight, John, who will guide us through tonight's eerie tales.
Good evening, Creepy Crew. I'm your host for tonight, welcoming you to another chilling episode of the Creepy Collective. Tonight, we delve into one of the most perplexing and chilling phenomena of our time, alien encounters. The mysterious beings known as the Greys, characterized by their distinct otherworldly appearance, have long captivated the human imagination. Recent surveys reveal that nearly 45% of Americans believe in the existence of UFOs, considering them potential evidence of extraterrestrial life. Astonishingly, about 17% of people worldwide claim to have witnessed a UFO firsthand. Each year, thousands come forward with accounts of alien encounters and abductions, sharing their unsettling and often harrowing experiences. Join us as we explore these extraordinary tales, featuring first-hand accounts and classified information about our potential visitors from beyond the stars. Stay with us as we unravel the unknown.
Jasper.
Hi, friends.
Friends? Do you know them?
Yeah,
How do you know them?
because they take me away with I sleep.
In 1994, a small rural school in Zimbabwe became the epicenter of one of the most remarkable and compelling alien encounter cases ever recorded. Over 64 students at the aerial school in Rua reported a shared experience that defies rational explanation. These young witnesses described seeing strange beings and a landed spacecraft, an event that has since fascinated and baffled investigators and skeptics alike.
Both of them were running. One was running in the trees, and the other one was running across the ship. Because there were also trees here.
Mm-hmm. The eyes were like more pointed as they came in toward the center of the head, is that?
More circular, and this was all black in here.
All black. Now you've made pupils. Do they actually have pupils or
White.
What?
The people were white like that.
You saw white in the center?
Yes, like that.
Mm-hmm. Was he near the silver object, or was he far?
He was on top.
On top of the silver object. Okay. And did you look at him?
Yes. And we saw two people. They were in tight black suit, and they had big eyes and a small. We didn't actually see their nose. It was quite small, and their mouth was quite small as well. One of them was running in slow motion up across the ship, and the other one was standing beside the ship. I couldn't see the eyes or the nose or the mouth. It was just blank, like a piece of paper.
But when they came, I thought they were crazy. All I saw was something like silver coming down, and I said, "What
must that be it? Then I went and I started crowding and everybody, then more people came and more. And then I said, hey, I can't see anymore, come on.
I saw little objects hovering. It was quite big actually, and then there was little ones all around it.
We saw something silver, and then we quickly ran to the logs, and we saw a silver thing, and we saw a man standing next to it.
What did it feel like when he was looking at you?
Felt scared.
It felt scary? What was scary about it?
Well, felt scared because I've never seen such a person like that before.
Did you see the eyes?
Then there was sort of like the hole, the hatch for it, and there was sort of like in between two trees. But you couldn't see that clearly, and it was just silver all over. And I didn't see any men or something like that.
You saw one UFO that's surrounded by little ones? Yeah.
Little ones around.
Yeah, let me see. Let me see your drawing.
One big ship and then small ones surrounding it with there were lights.
Yeah.
Surrounding the ship.
Like Sean's, huh? This is Sean's drawing.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. And okay, one landed, the big one landed, and the two aliens came out.
Yes.
And what happened with the little ones?
The little ones, they were just flowing around in the air. They didn't touch the ground. They didn't touch the ground.
It looked evil because it was just staring at me.
Staring at you as if what? As if to do what?
As if it wanted to come and take us.
As if it wanted to come and take you. That was the feeling you got? That it wanted you to go with it? Did you feel like you wanted to go with it?
I didn't have a silver crayon, so I did it yellow.
Yeah. So, but what happened? You came home and you told your parents?
Yes. Some of them didn't believe it. My mom didn't believe me.
Your mom didn't believe you?
My mom also didn't believe me.
Is that hard? Because if you see something and nobody believes you, what happens?
Well, yeah, you feel sad.
You start to lost out. You start to think as if it wasn't true. Yeah, and people say to you, no, it wasn't true, so you think it wasn't true.
Then you think that you're mad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And after that, you get all upset.
Yeah, and everyone starts teasing. And my friends over the road, when I go there and I tell them about it, they just say, oh, he believes in aliens.
And he had big eyes.
If they were actors, they wouldn't have been able to do such a good job.
Big black eyes and was dressed in a black bodysuit.
There were roughly 100 kids in the playground, broad daylight, aerial school, Rua, Zimbabwe. 1994, I licensed the archival footage.
They were trying to communicate.
We tracked down the witnesses today within arm's length of these beings. And I myself didn't believe it. All these children saying what they saw on camera after it happened, and then you see them 20 years later, and then we go to Africa. We meet with other witnesses. We go to the landing site. We talk to people at the school.
I believe that the children did see something.
I believe them because normally children don't lie.
And if you saw him again, what would you do?
I'll ask him what is he doing on Earth and what does he want with us.
The day before the spaceship came, my friends and I were sitting in the playground, and one of my friends, her name Emily, she looked up into the sky and she said, oh, there's a UFO. She said, and I looked at it and she said, no, just kidding, it's an aeroplane. And we looked up and I thought to myself, that can't be an airplane because it was very shiny. It looked kind of like a cigarette, you know? It was a long thing and then on the end it was all shiny. And so I said, maybe it is a UFO. So we were all kind of like getting scared now. And then the day that it happened, then we started thinking, yeah, that must have been a UFO in the sky. Because my brother also saw it, but he's left the school now. Mm-hmm. It was sort of like a round shape, sort of like a plate, sort of like two plates that were sort of like on top of each other.
And these made the silver lights?
Yeah, we're making different color lights, like green,
like
red,
flash to green, then they'd go to blue,
and then
red, green. Yeah, purple and red. But it was like it was going like each one to each one, but quickly.
Yeah. Where the spaceship had landed, all the insects and ants and stuff like that were all dead, and there was a huge black mark there. And my mum said it might have just been a fire there, but I don't think there was. I think it was the alien ship.
Yeah. But you have gone to the place, of course, and have you seen anything?
No, we weren't allowed
An
there.
evidence, I mean, that it was there?
Some other people came to the school and they went out the boundary of the playground and they went to go and see what had happened there, and they saw that the grass was burnt and all the living things had died there in that area.
Who was dreaming about it since then?
Yeah.
In a bad way?
Bad way.
Yeah, in a bad way? No, tell me you first in a bad way. Why? You have nightmares about it?
Yes, I used to, but then after about a year I stopped dreaming about it.
Mm-hmm.
I dreamt that the same one I saw without hair, he came into my bedroom and he took me from my bed. I wasn't scared a bit.
No, not at all.
Nothing. It was all fun to me. I heard this lady on TV, I think it was Jill Dark, and she said this lady got kidnapped and she had babies that were aliens.
That's what you're afraid of.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think the aliens came because they're curious like us, and they want to learn about us and we want to learn about them.
Some people say that people are saying that the aliens came to warn us something's going to happen, that something bad is going to happen to the earth.
Yeah.
I think they came here to try and warn us that the children because we're young. We've got a long time. We've got a long time till we die. To warn us that when we're older, there's something going to happen to the earth.
Yeah, not to pollute. Because we're young, we can still prevent it.
Yeah.
They were wearing pure black. And I came down and I saw the funny man with his eyes here. And I saw a spaceship and there were a few little ones around it.
And then I saw this maroon color in the sky.
Not very far. Not very far. About a meter away.
A meter away, that close?
Yes.
And how big was the figure?
It was about as big as a grade 6.
He was standing like a robot. I mean, his hands were really down like this against his side, and his eyes were really big, and he looked so scared. And I stepped toward him, and I remember thinking, my God, he's paralyzed with fear. That's the thought that went through my mind. And I stepped toward him, and I put my hands out to him, and I said, sweetie, they won't hurt you. They won't hurt you. You'll be okay. They won't hurt you. And it was like he couldn't even hear me. He didn't look at me. His eyes were just like straight ahead. And the light was all around us at that time. But there was nothing I could do. And that's the last thing that I remember. Everything after that was like a dream. It just got like really, like in a dream where things, out of sequence, and I knew I wasn't in my home. I didn't know where I was, but I could hear Danny screaming, and I was like trying to hit something. I remember it was just really crazy. And then the next thing that I remember was waking up the next morning.
When I was young, I have memories of something coming into my room at night and things being done to me. And I never really talked about being abducted or aliens or anything to my family because I knew they wouldn't believe me. But this started when I was about 4 years old, and I kept it inside me, and it came out in many different ways, and I never shared it until I was into my 30s. But it is really important that if you have a memory of something, don't let anyone tell you it's not your memory.
I'm coming home and coming down this road, which I knew, and I came across this tunnel.
Oh, right, so it was a tunnel you'd never seen before.
Never. And it was very eerie. The next thing, I was laid back in this like dentist seat, and there's these shadows, and these shadows got closer, and now there's like these 15-foot creatures, like human, bald, And I'm thinking to myself, you know, sort of like, what the hell's going on?
So this is your first contact with them. This is your first contact with these beings.
Terrified.
I was at this lecture, and there were 300 abductees there. That some who he'd interviewed with, some he had not, but who were there for interested to find out more about their experience. And one guy got up and said he had one arm, and I don't know whether that was related. I don't think it was related to the experience, but he said, I'm a Wall Street broker. I'm quite well off. I have a sailboat. I was in Long Island Sound a few years ago, and a blue light hit me, and I had missing time of about 5 or 6 hours. But in it, I have filtrated memories of beings addressing me and telling me that I was powerful and influential and I could help the planet survive. And they put me back in my ship when I woke up, and he said, I'm waiting for them to come back. I want them to come back.
Hi, my name is Marilyn, and I am RH-O. I do have low heart rate. I do have my eyesight literally bothers me because of the sun. I also have an extra vertebrae, which I had a car accident not so long ago, and they did x-ray, and they told me that I had an extra vertebrae also. I also have been abducted by alien when I was 19 years old. This was in 1992 when this happened. And then they came back again on 1997 when I had my children. And it's going to be hard for a lot of people to come and believe me. But my family know and my children know they're witnesses to this. And it happened also while I was with one of my daughters and with my mom up in D-Land, in Florida D-Land. And they've been coming to me since I was 4 years old. And they abducted me when I was 19 on 1992. And they took me to Mars. I saw Mars. I saw a planet that was made out of ice, and I saw Saturn. A lot of people is not going to believe, but I know what happened to me was real. And this is something that I've been carrying with me for so long. And also my children knows the experience that I've been going through, also because they've been going through the same experience as me as well. And I just wanted to let people know, and I wanted to share my story with a lot of people and to let people know that they're not alone on this. I never know that I couldn't find the words in how to come out with it, but I'm glad that I could come out with it now and let people know what happened to me is real. And this is an experience that I've been going through this throughout my whole life, and I need somebody to come and also help me through this process. I need to find out even more about what's going on when I was abducted. There's things that I don't remember, but there's things that I do remember about what happened. Thank you so much for your time and getting on the video. And I need some help, and I need somebody to come and be able to let me know, like hypnosis or something, to find out what else has been going on. Please hit me up on my comment, a doctor or somebody that knows somebody that could come and help me out, please. Thank you so much.
Hi everyone, my name is Marilyn Trevino, and I'm going to share part 2 about what happened to me when I got abducted. I know a lot of people got questions that wants me to come and answer, so I'm here to answer them all. This happened when it was 1992, and this was in Miramar, Florida. I was living at some apartments that it had 6. It was on the 6th floor, and I remember that I was meditating in my room, and out of nowhere, I just felt like something was just staring at me from my balcony. And when I looked at my balcony at that moment, right there, instantly, I saw un platillo volador, which is an alien ship, and it was like within seconds, boom, it took me up, and I saw my whole body. Literally, I was stiff. I couldn't move, and I remember I seen like if it was darkness beneath me, but I was underneath where the alien ship was at, but there was colors, and I was going in to the ship. and I could still see the the space, but it's all black with lights, like white lights, like stars, you know. And this is something that is really hard for me to come and share, because a lot of people really don't how do you call it, don't care about how you feel or nothing like that, you know. But this is what happened to me. And when I was under the inside of the ship, I remember that everything was all black on the inside, and as I'm going down, my feet are stiff, my hands are stiff, and there's colors that's coming around me, like lights all around me. I see a lot of colors, man. And let me tell you, I was so scared. My heart was literally pounding so hard when this was happening, you know. I couldn't believe what was going on with me, you know. And I remember every time I talk about it, you know, my heart literally starts pounding because of what happened. And so I look on the side of me, and there's a little alien man standing beside me, which is really small, which I haven't touched the floor yet. I was like this much from touching the floor. And it was a little one, a gray little alien, and then on the other side there was another one too, a gray little alien on my left hand side. And when I touched the floor felt really, really cold, but it was all black. It looked like if it was mirrors, like a black mirror. And when I'm still looking, I could look all around. Everything is black in front of me. Every direction that I'm looking is black, but it looked like glass black mirrors. But it was big. It was like far from a good distance. I say like 200 feet from in front of me. It's just so crazy how big it was on the inside. And what I remember is that the little aliens were standing next to me, and then I'm looking in front of me, and then I see this giant gray alien, long neck with a big head, and the eyes slanted. And next thing I know is he's mentally speaking to me, you know, telling me that don't be afraid, you know. And right there I started feeling a little bit more calm, you know, because it was such incredible. Literally my tears was falling down because I was so scared for one, you know. And then seeing a big alien in front of me, which is a great big alien. He was like 11-12 feet tall. He was really big, just in case people are wondering how tall was he. But this one was really big, and he had a black long, literally like a cape that goes down, not a cape, but something like what the royals be wearing. And it was on the inside was red, and on the outside was all black. But he was super tall. And I remember me touching the skin, and it was like a lizard type, you know, but it was gray, you know, like the skin was, I always say, like a lizard type, like a iguana, you know. So, but out of nowhere he's showing me this. Out of nowhere he told me, telepathically, he tells me, I'm gonna show you something, and the reason why is because you need to know what is going on. And I'm thinking like this is incredible. I'm soaking all of this in as it is, you know. And I'm just looking, and I see the side of the alien ship just opens like really long, like a long strip, and it was really big. And I see space, but I remember so vividly the sound of the ship, which it was like a humming sound, but it was incredible. I could still like hear it. That's one thing that it stays in me. And I see space, and he goes, I'm gonna show you this planet. And it was a planet of ice. It was all ice, all right? It was beautiful. It was like green, blue, the color of white. It was ice, like ice, and it's a giant planet. And it said that there was living people that stays there. And I don't know if we landed or not. I don't remember, but I know we passed by it. And the next thing I know, and then it's Saturn. You know, we passed through Saturn. And I remember very vividly the big gas that's in the middle with the ring that goes around it. It was so incredible. What I was seeing, it was like, look at this, I'm swallowing like all of this. It's like I couldn't believe what I was looking at. And why me? You know, why I was picked. And I said, why am I being picked for this? and I couldn't understand why, and then still I didn't hear no answer. But I do remember he goes, I'm gonna show you where we come from. And then next thing I know, I see Mars. And we landed in Mars. Literally, I see the red planet, and I had that long strips, a big piece that was missing on the side of the planet, and we landed there. When we landed, he told me this is where he came from, and this is where we come from. I didn't understand at the time where did we came from, because at the time I wasn't thinking, what do you mean we? I too, I didn't know. So I'm going and seeing what he's showing me, all right? And so I said there was plants, trees, beautiful colors of flowers, a giant mountain that was waterfalls that was coming down, and we landed, and I couldn't believe it. There was these giant leaves that I wrapped myself around in, and it was so incredible. And next thing I know, the way how before we landed, I forgot to say, he did something to me for me to come and be able to breathe, because my chest was literally hurting, and I was telling him that I couldn't breathe, and he came in, he did something to me that I was able to breathe, walking out of there, literally out of the ship. So follow me on part 3, because I know this year is almost finishing. But so it was incredible what was going on, and what I was seeing is like, I'm not gonna forget about this. It's impossible for me to forget about this, about what's going on. But follow me for part 3. This is part 3. I couldn't finish on the other one. When my name is Marilyn, and how you doing, everybody? So what happened to me is that when I saw the Mars, and he showed me, he told me also, but this was telepathically, all right? I didn't see no movement on the mouth. I'm here looking up high, and as I'm looking at him, he's like super tall. I wasn't scared. If anybody has questions about it, was I scared? No, I was not. I started crying. The reason why I started crying is because this never had happened to me, like being on the alien ship, and then like having them come to me since I was 4 years old. It was already hard enough for me, and then seeing them out in the streets all the time, them following me, seeing them in the sky, this is real. This is really real. And people say, yes, these are demons. Look, I'm a Christian, all right, and I believe in Jesus Christ. But you know what? Things happen to Christian people also. And before I came to God, all right, this was happening to me, all right? And since I came to God, I've been closer more to God. And I know that people's gonna say, those are demons that they're sending to you, is all lies. Let me tell you, if it is demons, then it is demons. But these are the things that God had put in front of me for me to come and share with other people, all right? I have friends, Christian friends, that stopped talking to me because of what's been going on, because of what I say. I'm not dwelling on it, but it just shows you that what God made all things, everything. So what makes you think that there ain't nothing out there? Because there is, all right? And this has been going on with me for the longest. And then, so let me tell you. So what happened is that he comes and he tells me telepathically and tells me, I'm gonna show you what happened to my city, my people. So as we're getting on the ship, literally, it's like an instant, poof, we're inside the ship and we're up, right? And I see the planet, and I see that it's being destroyed by balls of fire. Like, these are giant balls of fire, and my heart just starts pounding, because I'm like, oh my God, what the heck am I looking at? And it's fire hitting the planet, and instantly, like literally, I felt that my heart started breaking, because I started feeling pain, and for the people that he was losing, for their species, whatever was living in that planet also, because I didn't get to see what was living there, but I did get to see the mountains and like the flower, like I said, the waterfalls. It was just gorgeous. But it's like losing your mother, losing Earth. Imagine that happening to Earth, which already did probably thousands of years ago, but seeing it happen to another planet and seeing it happen, with your own eyes, like, what am I seeing? And I started crying, and it broke my heart. And he saw my pain. I'm looking at him, he saw my pain, and I said, oh my God, your people, you're losing your people, you know. And they could be your mother, father, I don't know. And, you know, they're living things just like us. I was seeing him in front of me. And what I saw, he was alive, and I touched him, and he was tall, and he was great. And let me tell you, I felt not scared at all, because I felt that peace at that moment. The whole time when I was next to him, the whole time that I was, he was showing me the planet of ice, the planet of Saturn, and then Mars. Come on, man, that's a lot of things to swallow. You know what I'm saying? And it's like people don't want to hear that. They want to say that you're crazy. You know, I might sound crazy to people, but I know I'm not, because I know what I went through. You know, and this happened to me. You know, and man, I know and they've been coming here also. I stay here in Florida City. You know, and still till this day they come. You know, I have brothers and sisters in Christ that they fell apart from me because of my testimony, because of what I said, you know. And I don't think that's right, that you should part from me just because of what happened to me, okay? I still stay stuck. I still come and I talk to the people that are going through it, you know. And the people go through these things and they don't know how to come out with it, all right? And I'm coming out with it because I know what happened to me, and I'm not scared no more for me to come and let people know what's going on, all right? And remember, that's one thing. God gave you a mouth, and whatever you've seen and whatever experience you went through, you share it. And I'm gonna share, and this is something that I'm sharing with everybody. And I know there's millions of people out there that are going through the same thing. All right, you're a Christian, and it got you closer to God. You know, even though that you had aliens come down to your house and come into your room, you know, and come and abduct you, and sometimes you're just paralyzed and you don't know what to do. I see that. I went through it. You know, so for doubters out there, don't doubt this thing is real, and it's good. And if it happened to you, if it hasn't happened to you, it's for a reason, because you're not ready. But it's happening to those, you know, that are willing to come and share, that are willing to come and express about what they went through. And I'm expressing about what I went through. I'm RH negative, all right, and I went through a lot, and I've been through a lot. I've been out, I lived in the streets, and I've been going through it since I was a little girl, since they've been coming to me since I was 4 years old. All right, they came to me when I was living in South Bend, Indiana, in 2006, 2010, 2012. All right, and in front of my kids, 2013, and then it's just crazy. All right, and it's like, and then over here, 2011, right here in Florida City. Also, I've been through a lot. People don't understand. All right, and I know that I know that a lot of people ain't gonna believe, but man, it takes a lot of courage for you to come out with stuff, with what's going on. And a lot of people are scared out there because of what the government can do to them. But you know what? I'm not scared. I'm not scared, because I know that God gave me peace, and I know where my peace comes from. All right. So if this happened to you, you know, hey, and they told me also for me to come and let people know about what happened. And I told me that I was gonna come back before it brought me back to the apartment where I was living in Miramar. I started, you know, after I was crying and stuff, I said, look, I'm so sorry what you went through, you know, that you're losing your, you know, you lost your family. I was saying this through my mind. You know how hard that is to understand the things that you go through? I mean, come on now. Telepathically is wow. It was like, wow, you know, they could hear me telepathically in my head. So I felt really bad and I cried, you know. So, and it's on my emotions. It was like it was studying my emotions, you know, about how I was feeling. And then I said, I don't want to leave. I don't want to leave, and let me stay with you. That's what I said. Let me stay with you. And they said, no, you need to go back because you have a big purpose. And your purpose is for you to come and share this to everybody. So this is what I'm doing. You know, I was scared for so many years. Man, you know what it is not to know how to read and write? 10 years ago, I just started learning how to read and write, you know. But I could talk and I could speak and I could press this button and share with you and record me and say, look, it's already time for me to come and share this. So people, please Don't make fun of people that goes through this, because you never know, you could go through it. One day you will go through it. Don't judge, all right? And it happened to me, and I'm not scared. I'm not scared anymore. I know what God put in front of me for me to come and see.
Hi, welcome back to CIA Declassified. I found a very interesting one I think you guys might like. So these techniques come from the Monroe Institute, from their Gateway program, which is the meditative program that the CIA used in their research in Project Stargate, which is essentially used to expand consciousness, get you to interact with non-physical energies, etc. One of their techniques for their daily life, I tried and it worked and it freaked me out. This right here is how to reduce pain signals. So you're going to look at or visualize the part of your body that's in pain, and you're going to repeat the number 55515. When you do these two things, the pain signals will slowly reduce until they are no longer important.
I was abducted by aliens. If you've been wondering where I've been, I'm about to tell you. They don't want me telling you guys what happened, but I'm going to give you every detail I'm allowed to tell you. A few months ago, I was giving my dogs their nightly walk, and out of nowhere, a blinding light came from above, and then I blacked out. When I woke up, I was in what I can only describe as like a liminal space. They had me in restraints so I couldn't move, and I was freezing, and I had no clothes on. These undescribable beings came in and started to do what I could only assume were tests of some sort on me. I felt humiliated and dehumanized as they probed me, held me underwater, and ran a series of other random tests on me. And the whole time I was just wondering if my dogs were okay. I couldn't understand the language that they were trying to speak. Their hands felt slimy and freezing cold. When I didn't come home from walking the dogs, my boyfriend tracked my phone. He found the dogs running around in a local field where I usually walk them, and that's where he also found my phone. When they found me, I was left in some abandoned building. After days of being interrogated and examined, they let me go, but I had to sign a whole bunch of papers with a bunch of lawyers that I didn't fully understand. All I know is they wanted me to keep the story to myself. And I was going to, but instead I figured out what I could tell people, and I thought I'd share my story to see if anyone else has gone through something similar. I know I sound crazy. I wouldn't have believed myself. This is what I went through. I'm left questioning reality, traumatized, and I've just been trying to figure out what really happened and how to just move forward with my life. I felt like I needed to get this story off my chest so I can just go back to living my regular life, even though I know I'll never be the same.
Hey, man, it's going crazy out here with these aliens, man. This is them abducting people in Atlanta. Just stole a whole bunch of big-legged black women out of Atlanta, sucked them up into a ball of light, and they're gone, man. I don't know what we're going to do. They're gone.
If an alien abducted me, took time out of his day, his or her day, to beam me up into a spaceship, just me, not anybody else in the neighborhood, I would make love to them, because that means I was chosen, special. They didn't just beam up Sally next door because she was out in her yard working. They beam me up out of my own bed as I'm relaxing, playing Candy Crush. So if they took the time to specifically pick me out of all these other humans that are around me, yes, I'll make love. That shows effort. Unlike these people on Tinder who the only thing they want to do is scam me and catfish me and extort money from me. You never know. An alien might make such good love to you, you might fall in love with an alien. And I'm not opposed to that.
I think I done fucked around and found out a little bit too much. These are CIA documents. What is this? These are sketches of what the aliens are supposed to look like. Straight from the desk of the CIA. Hold on, I'll show you more. I'm not even sure what I have stumbled across, but I have found a whole treasure trove of documents just like this. And what they are remote viewing session notes. In my last video, I talk about it if you want to go back and look, but this is remote viewing. See, it says remote viewer, MR, interviewer, ED, and it's just a bunch of notes about what they saw during their sessions. Like, let me show you one more. this is supposedly the location of another alien base in South America. Now, throughout these documents, there are coordinates. Cannot figure out where they lead to because they don't have northwest, southeast. They don't have any directionals. They just have numbers and then little squiggles. So I'm working my way through what the code is. But yeah, I'm getting deep, y'all.
Non-human biologics, the now famous quote from that infamous UFO hearing, in which former intelligence officer David Grush confirmed the recovery of non-human biological pilots from flying objects of unknown origin. But is this just the tip of hundreds of extraterrestrial reports that we've been overlooking for years? Aliens and UFO sightings quickly went from wacky nut jobs to now pretty much government confirmed. So let's have a look at the biggest claims that no one's talking about, which might actually be real after all. Dialing it way back, we see these ancient carvings and cave paintings all over the world, showing what looks like flying objects and even beings wearing spacesuits dating anywhere from 3,000 to 15,000 years old. From Peru, Africa, Australia, Italy, and even parts of America, all drawn by ancient humans who allegedly had no contact among each other. We got similar flying saucers in a number of Renaissance era paintings thousands of years later in the 1300s. Then in the 1950s is when things just skyrocketed, with hundreds of UFO sightings of the same flying saucers and little gray men repeated everywhere. Reports like the one in Virginia, Brazil in 1996, where entire cities claimed to have seen spaceships and alien creatures roaming around. UFO whistleblowers like Bob Lazar, who would straight up admit, yes, we have made contact and we are researching their technology. NASA insiders like Buzz Aldrin, the second man on the moon, confirmed reports of unidentified objects spotted in space and even close to the moon, bringing it to July 2020 when the US government not only admitted but showed us video proof of UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomena as they're now called, officially declassified by the Pentagon. Earlier in 2023, we had endless reports of these UAPs showing up everywhere. You remember that? With governments all collectively admitting they have no idea what these are while actively trying to take them down. Meanwhile, these things have no visible propulsion and move in erratic patterns that seem to defy physics. And now this, confirmation of non-human biological beings in this UAP hearing with discussions of potential multidimensional nature, meaning they may exist in higher dimensions and they project their three-dimensional shadows into our realm. Yes, this is in the official report. This whistleblower literally just admitted the government has aliens, and we're all just like, oh, cool. Obviously, the media's trying to discredit this guy as some crazy nut job, but remember, that's what the media does best. There are even these leaked alien interviews, which I remember seeing years ago and are now suspected to be real, but honestly, I'ma call cap on that one. Now, just take a step back and try to take an overseer look at this course of events that's been unfolding before us. Does it not seem like we're slowly building up to some ultimate climax? Some claim we are. Just another crazy nutjob theory known as Project Bluebeam, which I had to move into its own video in case it gets banned, so check me out to see if it's still up.
Welcome to CIA Declassified Black Vault series. For anyone who doesn't know, the COVID relief bill included that the government had 180 days to release information about UFOs. They did it. I'm literally going to cover every single document that I think is crazy. And the first one is just very questionable. Regarding aliens. The very last paragraph, number 5, says, "We wish to stress again that there does not appear to be any official program on UFOs within the intelligence community, and that this should be related to..." If there is no known UFO program going on within the intelligence community, meaning no other countries they know of have any UFO-like things, what else could that be related to?
This is one of those stories that I feel kind of weird and crazy telling people, but it really happened, and I truly believe that I encountered a pack of grays in Humboldt County, California. So a little bit of backstory: I was staying with a family who had a bunch of kids. I think there was like 6 kids. Most of them were under the age of 7 years old. There were twins actually, and this was like a huge house, big 3-story house, and I was staying there helping them do some gardening work. And after about a week, the mother kind of realized and sensed some weird stuff going on. The dogs were acting strange, hiding under the tables, and these were really fierce dogs that would like run bears up a tree, so they shouldn't have been afraid of anything. And things were weird. Things were becoming spooky. So the mother of the household stopped letting her children play outside. They had carved big fairy houses out of bases of redwood trees, and the kids had a whole setup outside. No more playing outside. Things were too weird. And my partner and I slept in a big tent, probably about 100 feet outside of the house, just because there was not that much extra space inside the house. And one night we were going to sleep, and as we were listening to our movie, we started to hear what sounds like 10 snakes or something slithering around our tent and through the grass. And it was just this really weird thing where we paused the movie and we could hear slithering around our tent. Some sort of movement. To me, it sounded like slithering. It was enough to freak us out and want to get out of there and go inside. So we turn off the TV, we turn off all the lights, and we click off our main light and we get ready to unzip the tent. And at that point, I look at my partner and I was like, do we really want to go inside? And right as I said that, we heard some rustling in the bushes 3 feet in front of us. So my partner unzips the tent really fast and we shine our flashlight forward, and standing right in front of us was a huge, probably about 8-foot, slender figure, gray, and with big, I'll never forget the big black, like shiny eyes it had, and it was just staring at us. And we're like frozen in fear for a split second. Then I start to run and my partner yells at me, don't run. So he grabs my hand and we start to walk slowly to the house, and about 20 feet away we could see this thing keeping pace with us as we crossed the yard. More like this, I guess we were going this way. He's slipping through trees and stuff. We could barely just see him walking with us. And later that night, he reappeared. Stay tuned for part 2. Tell a story about an unbelievable supernatural experience you've had. Part 2, I'm going first. So, the gray alien that I saw in front of my tent returned later on in the night. Okay, so a little recap. My partner and I were sleeping in a tent and we heard really weird noises circling our tent, and then when we get ready to leave, we open our door and see an 8-foot tall, what I believe to be a gray, staring at us. We proceed to kind of run, try not to run. We're like speed walking across the yard, say we're going this way. Just along the tree line, I could see this thing like slipping through the trees. It looked so weird, like definitely not human of any sort. So we run up the stairs and get inside, and when we get inside, his aunt and uncle are already sitting there wide awake because they had a weird feeling. And these are the most like enlightened, in tune people I've ever met. And they're just sitting there like, what's going on? What's going on? Something's wrong. We're like, yeah, something's wrong. And we proceed to kind of tell them what we just experienced. We all smoked together. It was around 3 o'clock in the morning, so they set us up an air mattress and we go back to bed. The house has a really large dog. There were 2 large dogs. One of their dogs' name was Boomer. Boomer decided to sleep in the living room right next to us that night, and something startled him, which startled us. It was pretty spooky. We wake up to Boomer just making a straight beeline at the sliding glass door, which if we sat up, which was right in front of us, about 10 feet away, he's barking and going crazy and just goes for the door and starts scratching at the door going crazy. And we sit up in time to see what I believe was the same figure standing at the door staring in. And when Boomer hit the door and started going crazy, this thing literally evaporated into thin air and kind of shot upwards, which is gone. And yeah, we sat up in time just to see the same figure staring at us and disappear right before our eyes. So yeah, that all happened, and I'll never forget it. This was in Humboldt County, California. Not that the address really matters much, but it was in fact 666 Old Wagon Road. I'm not going to tell you where, but that was the address. It was pretty weird, in the middle of the redwoods. And then a friend reported that later that week he saw the same figure pacing in front of this super spooky gate that was towards the beginning of the road. Big, like military looking gate leading up to a huge gravel driveway. But yeah, this thing was a lurkin, and I believed we survived a pack of them. So yeah, stay on the lookout.
Mom, bring everyone in the back room! Don't bring that out! Oh, shit! Jesus, don't bring it in the house! What are you doing there, Ray? Don't bring it! What? You might get... Oh, that shit. shooting you. It's already dead.
Get out of Get out of here, Mike! Get that! Nah, I think that y'all are not aware of certain shit.
And see, that's
I got abducted before by extraterrestrials.
What?
Do you believe that? Look me in my eyes.
What the fuck? No, absolutely fucking not. Because you're still here on the internet raising hell.
Look me
No.
in my eyes.
No.
And tell me I'm lying.
You're lying.
That's the problem. I'm aware of something you're not.
So tell me what happened when you were abducted before we move on.
I told your story like 5 times already.
Okay, I haven't heard this particular story.
Okay,
I'm sure my viewers haven't heard it.
Right now.
Okay, tell me.
I was on a table, and my body was on the table.
Okay.
And I was on a ship, and it was all metal, like a spoon. And I was looking down on my body, and my body was like chest down. I was looking at the back of my head, and there was some beings operating on my 33rd vertebrae, and it felt like it felt like when you take 2 wires and you touch them, and they kept going like that with my I don't know what it was. Don't have me get the line, but it was right here, and it was I could look all around me, but I couldn't look to the right. It was a being right here to the right, but it didn't look like near you. I don't know what the fuck it was, but it was whatever it was a masculine being, and it was talking to me telepathically, and it told me it was the captain of the ship. This is a true ass story, and it told me it was the captain of the ship, and I asked the being, like, it wouldn't identify itself though. When I asked specific questions like, where you from? It didn't answer. And I asked him, like, what you doing? Like, what are you doing to my body? And it was like, we fixing you. And the being asked me for my permission. I gave him my permission. And then it kept touching, it kept going like this with my spine. And I kept feeling my pain increase. And I remember I was just gritting my teeth like, and it was, they say they were strengthening my nervous system so that I could channel. And I believe that because I do channel. But it was clicking me like this. And I remember the pain was increasing, and the being kept communicating with me like, are you okay? Can we keep going? I kept saying, yeah, I could take it. And I was trying to be tough and take the pain. I remember the pain got so excruciating, I just came back to my body, and it brought me back.
Do you believe that maybe you probably
Hell no, that wasn't.
had a hallucination due to all the books you were overloading your mind with?
Is he no longer human?
And this guy had on sunglasses in the front row.
Look at this. Specifically for Purveyor Road. Get in there, not too close.
I'm coming back over here, seeing you with these sunglasses. There's no sun in here. And you being disrespectful. I need to be able to see you, right? If you don't take them damn glasses off, Roseanne, he lifted up his glasses and everything was black.
Have any eyes?
Did you hear what I said?
What?
He lifted up his glasses and everything was. I looked back at him, and the energy I gave him was, I'ma mind my business and walk my ass back down to the other side of the stage.
When I was in high school, I was abducted by aliens in the middle of the night. Let's talk about it. I swore to myself years ago that I was never going to tell this story publicly until the government released that there is the existence of aliens. And now I'm not going to sound as crazy. I've told this story to a few people in my personal life, and the only logical conclusion that any of us have been able to come to is aliens. So I was about 17 years old. It was around 11 p.m. and I was driving home from my boyfriend's house. It was a weekend night. I think it was like a Saturday. My curfew was midnight. I lived in a decently large city in Minnesota, but there was this one road. And I don't know why, but this road it was a beautiful road, but it just made me feel really uneasy. But it was the only way to get from my then boyfriend's house to my house. So I had to take it almost every single day. Yes, I went to my boyfriend's house almost every single day, okay? But daddy, I love him. All right, it's fine, okay? So just to give you guys a better picture of this road, I did draw a map. Here's my map. So basically, it was a 2-lane, small, wooded area street, okay? This is very important to the context of the story. I swear it's all going to come together. There were no other streets that connected my boyfriend's suburb to my suburb other than that street. Well, I was going down that street and just driving my car by myself, and all of a sudden, the dash on my car goes out. All the lights in my car are off. And this was in a span of probably 3 seconds that all of this took place. And I recognized that the lights in my car just went out, and I started thinking, what the fuck? And before I could say fuck, I blacked out. Absolutely no recollection of what happened after that. But then I wake up and my car is still off. All of a sudden, The lights in my car all turn on, the radio turns on, and I'm driving. It's not on the gas, but I'm in drive, and I'm driving. And I'm thinking, whoa, that was really weird. And I start looking around. I'm not on that road anymore. I am on a dirt road with no lights anywhere to be seen. I don't recognize the dirt road, never been on the dirt road, have no clue where I am at all. So I grab my phone to start naviging where I am. I'm freaking out, of course. My phone's dead. Completely dead. I don't remember if it was 100% charged, but I know that it most certainly wasn't close to dying. So my only option at this point is to just keep driving. So I'm driving for a good 5 minutes, panicking, crying, sobbing. I'm 17, I have no idea what just happened to me. And in the distance, I start seeing some lights. So I'm like, thank God, I'm close to a road. Pull up to where the lights are. I pull up to the original road that I was on. Now, there was one little dirt road going this way. The only thing about this little dirt road is that the only way that you could get onto this road coming this way was from a city about 30 minutes away. So one of two things would have had to happen for me to get where I was on that dirt road. First one would be to go all the way around the city and then down to this dirt road, or I would have had to drive about 10 minutes down the road, turn around, and then start driving down this road just to then turn around and then come back onto that road. But mind you this, there's no way that could have happened because I looked at the time. All of this happened in about 10 minutes. So there's no way that I could have gone either one around the whole city through the dirt road or went 10 minutes down the road, turned around, then got onto that street. It would have taken at least 20 minutes for me to get onto that road. So the math was not mathing. And I've told people from my hometown this story, and they have no clue how I ended up on that road. No clue. I ended up going home, crying, sobbing, telling my parents all about it. I'd never even heard of that dirt road because it's so tiny and it's so covered with trees. Like, people just looked past it all the time because it was just this tiny little dirt road in the middle of nowhere in our city. No one went down it unless you were working at a farm, down the way. So I went upstairs and I took all my clothes off and examined my entire body. There was nothing. Nothing that would indicate I was pricked, I was probed. It was just... Still to this day, I'm absolutely stumped at what could have happened to me other than I was abducted by aliens. And you can't call me crazy because they've confirmed they're real. So, take that, internet. Oh, yeah. I am, however, open to alternative concepts and ideas of what could have happened to me because I don't like it. But unfortunately, nobody that I've told this story to can figure it out. So
I have been very hesitant to post this video, but here it goes. So, Christmas Eve, December 24th, 2023, I was abducted by aliens. Yeah. I know there's gonna be plenty of people who call Cap and get my comments, oh, she lying, anything for cloud, blah blah. Y'all, all right, here it goes. So I'm in this dream, and in this dream I'm in middle school. Okay, it's my middle school back home in Louisiana, and at this time I'm a student in middle school, right? And then it flips, within a couple seconds, it flips to where I am now a teacher in the classroom of the middle school. Now, which is really interesting because I used to be a middle school teacher back in 2016. Okay, so there's one of my students who just came from the front office, and she came in talking to me, and she was like, hey, there was a student who's in the front office who's acting really irate and cursing and telling everybody she gonna pum them. Yeah, so as she's telling me the story, all of us over here, the student yelling coming out the hall, that student, she's closest to the door, she hurry up and locks the door. And I get everybody in position for active shooter alert or whatever. So, away from the front door, away from that door, whatever. Now, in this particular classroom, in this dream, I have a back door that leads to outside. So I tell the kids, and I was like, if we start hearing pew pew, then we're gonna exit, we're gonna run out back door. Okay. And then we hear the girl, because like I said, my classroom was in the hall. The student opens up the big double doors to lead outside. Okay, then my dream switches again. So this time when the dream switches, it's nighttime, and I am in a parking lot of almost like a outlet mall or a shop, big old shopping center. Because I remember how the stores are kind of like wrap around or whatever. So anyways, I look up at the sky and the clouds are really weird, and all of a sudden the clouds make a funnel, and I'm like, oh snap, it's a tornado. And I start trying to like make my way to run from the tornado. I didn't get very far, got sucked up by a tornado. As soon as I got sucked up by a tornado, I blinked. Not a switch like in the beginning. I blinked, and now I'm on this gurney. And I'm strapped down on a gurney, but not in a way that you would think. Like I only have like one big chest kind of strap. Like my legs aren't like fully strapped down. Like I can move. I don't have anything over my mouth or anything like that. I'm able to move my head. But what I do have attached to me is to all of my fingers and all of my toes are these tubes that are connected to me. Okay, these tubes. And I remember they started pushing some type of substance or whatever through the tubes, and I could feel it going through my body. It wasn't painful. Like I know, I was like, dang, that felt very real for a dream. Like I could feel it. Okay, I could feel this going through my body. And so after they finished pushing all the stuff through my body, they unhooked me from everything, and I said, okay, let's test it out to see if it, if it works. So they tell me to basically like test. Okay, so anyways, all I did is I moved my hand like this, and there was a table. There was like a steel table that was in the room that I was, and I moved my hand like this, and basically I made the table like fly. Okay, and then they tell me that I needed to go unalive myself in the other me, because we can't exist in the same plane, in the same realm. That's what they said. And I was like, okay, cool. So it transitions where I'm back at the school. I find other me, and I remember holding her up, like holding her up by her neck, not really choking her, but holding her up by her neck. And I tell her the message that they told me was that, look, we can't exist in the same realm, same plane. One of us has to go, and it's you. And she complied. Like, she didn't try to fight me. She didn't start crying, nothing like that. She was just like, okay. And then I remember, like, I just threw her, and she fell to the ground and then disappeared. So when I woke up, as I literally was waking up, I could hear our garage door opening, and I was like, it's Christmas Day. I know my husband not going to the store because it's Christmas Day. Everything's closed, right? But I know I heard the garage door open. So I go walk to the back of the house to go check on my 5-month-old. And when I walked to the back of the house, our back door was completely unlocked. Now I was like, what? Alarm system still on, but the back door was completely unlocked. So I get back to my phone. I go to check the cameras. Nothing on the cameras. Nothing on, like, no activity. Nothing on the cameras. And I'm like, what? And I was like, okay, that was a very strange dream. So when I told my husband when he woke up about the dream, and he was just like, so you got abducted by aliens and you ain't come get me? You ain't. And of course I kind of laughed, and I was like, what you mean? So after talking to two of my other close friends about it, they was like, hey Jan, I think you really did, y'all. And after further research, all the people who've had experiences with being abducted, everybody thought it was a dream. Y'all do, so whoever, don't send this to Erykah Badu, because I don't because I also live in Dallas. Don't send this to Erykah Badu, because I know she upset that they haven't came and got her. I don't need her to come try to find me. But yeah, so my abduction experience, it wasn't anything negative. I wasn't in pain. So yeah. So I have been very hesitant to post this video.
Hey, y'all seen this yet? This Italian man took photos of aliens from planet Clarion, located 150,000 light years from Earth. He said he was abducted in September of 81. The planet is located in the Eagle Galaxy, 150,000 light years away. Dude, this guy is a journalist, scientist, official speaker at many international congress. I mean, and he worked as a professor at the University of Eastern Piedmont. You know he's not lying. Dude, he's only 7 years old whenever he first got abducted, right? They erased his memory. His first in 81. He taken to a secret base in the Amazon rainforest. What? He remembered his first contact. He argued that aliens live forever and come from the main source of life where eternity is created. He didn't explain what kind of source he was talking about, though. According to Cavallo, he'd been abducted several times. Aliens revealed shocking facts about the universe to him, and he's trying to convey them to people, but they're not listening. This is a little book. It's called Beyond the Heavens. Y'all need to check it out. Seriously. For example, I told him that there's not 9 planets, but there's 12 planets. I never dared to call myself a messenger or even an ambassador of Star Peoples. I never believed I was a chosen one. He even claimed that he took a bunch of pictures of them, basically, okay? And they looked a lot like us, yada, yada, yada. Their facial expressions, they're somewhat different ours. Anyways, I don't know, man. What do y'all think?
Okay, so ever since I told my girlfriend about this dream that I thought I had, and she said that it might be an alien abduction, I've been wanting to like put this story out on TikTok just to see if anyone else has kind of had this similar experience before. So this happened when I was, I want to say maybe 6 or 7. I honestly can't remember. But from what I remember in this dream, all I can really recall is I was standing in some indoor space, but I was kind of standing at the edge of something, like kind of standing at the threshold of something, but next to me and behind me, all I could see is that there was just these kind of gray silver walls. And I felt like I was kind of standing there as if I had like just woken up from like a trance. Like I remember just standing there and like just being really like kind of emotionless, if that makes sense. And then I look up and I can see these 2 really tall human-like figures, and they just kind of seemed more like grayish, if that makes sense. These really 2 tall human figures, and couldn't really see or make out their faces, but they were super close to me, but I wasn't afraid. I actually felt like really safe and comforted with these 2 figures next to me or behind me. And then I heard one of them communicate in English, okay, it's time for you to go back now. And when that happened, I remember going off the edge of wherever I was standing, but I didn't fall. It was a sensation of kind of going down a slide, like if you can imagine that, but I wasn't on a slide. But I felt like that, like just kind of like, kind of going down a slide. And I looked around and I could see the night sky, like I could see space. That's what it looked like. I could see the dark sky, I could see the stars, and I remember kind of going somewhat fast and just being like, wow, this is really cool, like what's going on, where am I going? And then I looked at, past my feet, and I could see my body. I could see me in my bedroom on my bunk bed. And then I had the distinct feeling of my consciousness sliding back into my body. And when I woke up in my body, I immediately went into sleep paralysis, but I wasn't afraid. I never had that experience again, but it always stuck with me was those two figures standing behind me and being like, okay, it's time for you to go back now. And when I told that to my girlfriend, she just looked at me and said, you might have been abducted by aliens. And then she proceeds to tell me about how she had a professor in college who shared a very similar story to what I experienced. I need to know if anyone else has had this experience before.
Alright, so I was really debating about whether or not I should actually share this particular experience. I have only told a handful of people this story about when I was visited by the Greys, and this was over a year ago. A little bit of backstory, okay? I have always believed in extraterrestrials, even as a child. I was always extremely open-minded about all of this. I went on Amazon and I thought it would be funny to buy an alien baby doll. That was a Grey. So I bought this doll off of Amazon and I named her Amaya. My close friends know this story. I literally took this doll with me everywhere, you guys. Like, had her in the passenger seat when I was driving. I would take her everywhere. She would be like laying in my bed at night. I just freaking loved this alien doll because I thought she was so cute. Put clothes on her. There will be a part 2 to where I actually show you this doll because it's been in my closet ever since. Alright, so this one night I was actually laying down about to go to sleep. And as I was falling asleep, I started to feel a little uncomfortable. And I almost felt like I was about to start lucid dreaming. And I kept seeing this giant wheel. And the only way that I can describe it is if you guys have seen that, it's called CERN. If you guys haven't looked into it, just look at it. And it kind of looks like a portal and it's got like lights around it. That's what I was seeing, but it wasn't white lights. They were like yellow lights. And it was like circles inside of circles. And it just kept spinning. And it kept spinning to the point to where I got even more uncomfortable and I was trying to kind of shake myself fully awake and I wasn't sleeping. It's like I was kind of in this in between, like I can't really describe it. And so when I finally opened my eyes, my room looked normal, but there was a Grey standing at the edge of my bed, like at the foot of my bed. And I wish I could really describe this state that I was in because it was almost like it was an astral plane, but it wasn't. It was extremely real. That's just how it felt. And I was just screaming. I was like, oh my God, like I need to call my friend. There's a freaking alien in my room. And I call her and I'm freaking out. And he's just like staring at me. And then I see a smaller Grey kind of on the side of my bed. It looked like a child, kind of had its hands like propped up on my mattress, you know, like big eyes, whatever. And so the alien starts to freak out and then he runs and puts something on my dresser and then runs through the wall. Through the fucking wall, you guys. I look at my dresser to see what he put down, and it was like this statue. A statue of two hands holding each other, like holding hands. And it had words on it, and I know it had something to do with hybrid children. And so I turn around, and there are these two people standing in my room, and they came to me because apparently I was supposed to heal them or something. And I was all types of confused, y'all. These two very humanoid-looking beings, but they weren't fully human. It's like they were both hybrid. I'll finish this story in part 2. Hey Zen Tribe. So this is the part 2 that you guys are waiting for. First off, so this is Amaya. She's in her nightgown right now, so excuse her, okay? So pretty much after I saw those two humanoid beings, it kind of ended after that. And I woke up and no one was in my room anymore, but everything looked exactly the same. What was even wilder about this experience though, a few days before, my mom actually felt the need to tell me that I was going to be visited soon by them. And I just kind of looked at her like, yeah, whatever. Pretty sure that's not going to happen. Until it did. And I know that it had something to do with Amaya here. And I tried to remember everything as vividly as possible. So when that small Grey, it was kind of like a child, like a toddler, had his little hands on my bed, I actually drew a picture of it. Don't laugh. At the time I had this purple comforter on my bed, so that's what the purple comforter is. So yeah, I tried to draw it. I also drew what the Grey looked like that was standing at the foot of my bed. Not the best, but I tried to draw my altar because my altar is literally like right like at the foot of my bed. And it is actually dated there, 9/27/20. And I didn't really feel pulled to draw this until like a couple days afterwards. So it was a few days before when it actually happened. So like I said, Amaya has been chilling out in the closet ever since. This is the first time I pulled her out of my closet in like a really long time. And it's like, it's not so much of a fear thing. It's just one of those experiences that, one, you never really expect to happen. And two, I felt like my boundaries were crossed because I never asked for that experience. And I feel like even though I wasn't harmed or anything like that, and I never got the energy like I was in any type of danger whatsoever, I feel like it's the principle.
When we astral project, we can run into a lot of different entities in the different astral planes. And in this video, I really want to discuss my experience with gray aliens in the astral realm. The first time I had an encounter with a gray alien was back in 2015. I was laying in bed and all of a sudden my astral body just came up out of my physical body and was heading out towards the window. There was this huge spacecraft just like in the street next to my house, hovering above my house. It was a saucer-like ship and it had lights coming down everywhere, but I was being taken against my will up into the ship. And I did not see any actual aliens. So I don't know for a fact that it was a Greys. I just have this belief within me that it was gray aliens. I freaked out and I was like, no, don't take me. I can't. No. And the closer I got to the ship, the more I freaked out until eventually I was just boom, slammed back into my physical body. And I woke up, I got up out of bed and I looked outside immediately. I did not see anything, but I was like checking myself and it was really disturbing for me because I was being taken against my will. About a week later, I was astral projecting around my house and I went in the back of my house and there was a bunch of windows. I looked out the window and I saw a gray alien just staring at me. And it was what a typical gray alien looks like, with like the diamond shaped bulbous head and the almond eyes. There was no positive energy. There was no negative energy. And the moment I saw it and looked at it, I freaked out again and boom, got sent right back to my body. August 8th, 2021. What happened this night was so disturbing. I literally think about it every day. At least once a day, I'll think about it and go, ooh, oh God, that was awful. Like it's really traumatic for me to think about and to talk about, but I'm hoping this video helps someone out. I went to bed and I was really open to astral projecting and I was taken up like a force just boom, like sucked me way up into the universe. And I had no control over it. I was just being taken. And I stopped somewhere out in space and I could hear a humming of a ship. And I realized that I was like frozen in place. I couldn't look around or move or anything. I was just frozen. I can hear this humming, something like an engine, like just a as if I were in something. I was really curious. I was a little bit frightened, but I was really curious. I was like, what's going on here? And as I looked out into space, I noticed on my left-hand side, it looked like spider webs, like veins going out in all of these different directions. And then on the other side, it looked like reptilian eggs or shark eggs, like these long oblong structures that were orange in color. And they were just on each side, just huge, massive structures. And as I was looking at these things with curiosity, like what's going on here, I could still hear the humming of like some kind of engine. And all of a sudden I was just being taken down. And it felt like I was being taken down below Earth's surface. But I don't know for a fact. The first thing I saw, a building. I was like right in front of this building and it had all these different layers. And I could just hear the engine just going down. I saw rows and rows and rows of gray aliens' bodies just hanging there. Like totally lifeless. They were being hung up from something from the ceiling, but the bodies were just hanging lifeless. Their eyes had like a reddish glow tint to them. And I got the impression that these were just robotic bodies waiting to be activated. And this is when I really started to freak out. I was like, oh my goodness, like, oh. But I was also curious because it's like, wow, I've never seen anything like this before. Like, what the hell is going on? Like, oh, I'm scared, but I also want to know what's going on. So when I got to the bottom of this structure, this giant warehouse, building, whatever it was, I started to move backwards. So it was just like, and my view was getting further and further away. And then I started to move to the left, and I could see this walkway in front of me. And in the distance, like, I could see this one-story building. I had doors in front of it. And in front of those doors were 4 guards. And it was a gray alien, a different alien, a gray alien, and then the different alien. The 2 non-gray aliens, they were short. Like, the grays were like really short. They looked to be about, I don't know, 4 feet tall or so. They were like really small. And the other aliens next to them were also very small, but they had like a roundish body that was completely hairy. Now, they did not look like Bigfoot. It was like these round, hairy, shaggy bodies. I could not see any facial features. They had something going across that looked like something for weapons. And all 4 of the aliens were carrying some sort of weapon. Like, they were standing like soldiers, just like standing like this. I could not tell what the weapon looked like. And then they had this thing going across their bodies, like soldiers that would, back in the day, were like those leather straps with like bullets in them. That's what it looked like. Now, I'm not saying that's what they were. And then it started taking me slowly right to them, right to these 4 aliens, and I started to freak out. I just seen like these hanging, deactivated alien bodies, and now I see aliens in front of me, and I had some moment of clarity where I thought, oh, maybe I should just see, like, maybe I should figure out what's going on, but the fear took over me. So as I'm approaching them very slowly, I was freaking out and trying to get back to my body. And I could not get back to my body. I was like, come on, let's go. I don't want this. I don't want this. I got to get out of here. I got to get out of here. And the aliens in front of me, they weren't moving. They were just very still, just like almost like statues. There was no positive energy nor negative energy. It was very serious. It didn't feel like a positive experience. It did not feel like they were going to welcome me. Like, oh, hey friend, like, let's come hang out. No, that was not the impression I got at all. It was just very, very serious. Did they come at me like they were going to attack me? No. But I was just so freaked out. I kept trying to get back to my body, and the closer and closer I got to them, eventually, at one moment, I was just like, I have to get back. I have to go. I don't want this. Just, like with all of my might, all of my force, I just put into this, and boom, I was sent back to my body. And I just jumped out of bed, and I started checking myself. I was like, what just happened? Like, oh my goodness, did they take me? Did they put something in me? Am I still over there and I don't know it? Were they going to put me in those like, just freaking out. Now that I've had time to calm down and think about it, I still don't know why I was taken there, why I was shown those things. I don't know what was going on. If you've had an experience like this, please reach out and let me know, because I am really curious about this. I have all these theories and ideas, but I don't know anything for certain. I felt like I was being taken against my will, and I don't know what would have happened had I not gone back to my body. So if you've experienced anything like this, comment down below. Please let me know. And for more videos like this, how to astral project, shadow people, aliens, so much more, be sure to follow me at AstralK.
All right, story time about the time I saw an extraterrestrial. And I've been sitting on this story for over a year because I haven't wanted to sound crazy, but now I'm just ready to let the cat out of the bag. Here we go. So in April of 2022, I went to San Diego, California for a Dr. Joe Dispenza advanced week-long meditation retreat. And at this retreat, there was about 1,000 other people. Every day, you would meditate in a massive ballroom about 2 or 3 times a day, as well as have a lesson from Dr. Joe himself. And it was during one of these meditations that I saw the alien. Now, I just want to include that there's been a lot of media attention around aliens over the past few months. And I think that the media is giving them a bad rap. How I feel about aliens is that they've been here for a while and they're actually trying to help us. But that's just my opinion before I continue. So this happened on the Thursday. Mind you, I got there on the Sunday and there was nothing really strange that happened. Of course, I had my suspicions about the retreat. I was nervous the first day, couldn't really fully relax, couldn't fully get into the meditations because I kept kind of popping my eyes open to make sure, nothing weird was going on. But by the 4th day, I felt really comfortable and I really trusted the whole process. So it was first thing in the morning. It's probably only about 7 a.m. We'd got to the ballroom around 5 or 6. Typically, the morning meditations were about an hour to 2 hours long. I remember feeling very cold. So cold to the point that I woke up and I almost kind of like jolted awake. Mind you, I was lying down and so was everyone around me. And I just remember sitting up and looking over to my left. I could see these 2 tall blue beings walking amongst the aisles, very slowly, very peacefully. And when I saw it, I wasn't scared. All I'm thinking to myself in the moment is this actually real? Am I seeing what I think I'm seeing? And after a few seconds, boom, they were gone. Obviously, for the rest of the meditation, all I could do was lie awake wondering if I really saw what I thought I just saw. And eventually, when it was over and everyone got up and had their, midday break, I asked some other people, did you happen to see anything odd? And a few other people told me they did. And one girl said that she's been to his meditation retreats before, and she believes that aliens actually work with Dr. Joe to help heal the collective. Of course, that was just a theory that this woman told me. Okay, I ran out of time while I was getting ready this morning, but I just wanted to emphasize that it's just a theory that Dr. Joe works with aliens. That's just what I heard. Obviously, after what I saw, I was a little spooked, but I still feel that aliens are here for good. But again, who am I to comment? I'm just a crazy psychic. Happy Thursday.
1972, I was asleep and suddenly I heard a voice in my head that said, please come outside. That was 4:30 in the morning. Next minute was 7:30 in the morning and I was standing in the yard and I was looking up at an enormous spacecraft that was as big as my house. The only thing I remember is a bunch of us that were only lights gathering around the table and looking at maps. When Larry came running out of the house, it had vanished. And our marriage wasn't doing so well anyway.
And I remember I was taking off my suit and I just looking out the window because it was a great view. And I look down towards the pool and I see this weird disturbance, maybe 5 or 6 stories down, right? And it looks like a weird, almost like ball lightning, or is described or something like this. This strange ball of looks like electricity. I don't know what it was.
Like those plasma balls,
like
where you put your fingers on it and all the things go everywhere.
Yeah, kind of like that. Yeah. And so one just appears right where I'm looking, between me and the illuminated swimming pool that's down there. And I was like, oh, this is not good, and I don't know why, I think it was happenstance that I happened to be looking in that direction at the time. But as I looked at it, it was either growing or it was coming closer or both. All right. And so then I called my ex-wife over. I probably shouldn't mention her name, but I was like, get over here. And she comes and she looks and she sees it immediately. And all of a sudden it speeds up and comes toward the window, right? And all of a sudden there's this weird electrical charge in the room. It feels like everything's vibrating.
Is the electricity getting impacted in the room?
I'm not sure, but it felt like there's a charge, almost like static electricity, but it felt vibratory, for lack of a better term. Okay.
Was there a noise?
I don't remember a noise. And what I do remember is that when that was happening, in the window, there was a strange red light that seemed to be attached to a small device that was maybe about the size of a mic or something like that. But there was about the length of one, but there was a red light and there was like a little piece of technology there outside the window. And I saw it, she saw it, and weirdly, as that happened, I know it sounds really, the whole thing's bizarre, right? The whole thing's bizarre. As that happened, strangely, two beings appeared in the window, outside the window, right? Outside the window, where, again, I'm guessing like 17 stories up or something like that. And I don't know what they're standing on. I don't know. It seems like there's some dimensional layer or something. Something's overlapping, and suddenly these beings are right there. She turns around, starts to move away, and as she does, she like passes out cold. And I don't know why that happened, whether that was a trauma response or like something. I don't know if it had anything to do with the red light. I don't know what it had to do with, all right? But like she's moving away, and again, it's like a very hard floor, and so I move and I grab her head as she's hitting the ground. And then I turn around, and those two beings are inside the window rather than outside the window, right? And weirdly, I know it's super bizarre. Again, the whole thing's super bizarre. There's like this weird electrical charge in the room, and all of a sudden, instead of me moving somewhere seemingly, the objects in the room seem to disappear, and then me and those two beings are in a different space entirely, right? And there's like a weird floating medical bed, all right? And like I'm placed on this cold bed, and it moves back and forth, and it seems like it's trying to like sedate me or something like that, or soothe me. And then I see again that weird red, or something like that, red device, that red light device, and it's off past the bed, and these two beings it's basically pointing at me, this weird light. Meanwhile, this weird hum is kind of coming through this weird cold bed. Not really a bed, it's more like like a slab that seemed to be like for medical procedures or something like that. Mm-hmm. And then I felt as if like my spirit was about to leave my body somehow. Like I felt like my consciousness was getting loosened up somehow. And then all I saw was blackness around me. And it felt like there was something being done to either my spirit or my mind somehow to make me not remember whatever was happening to my body at that point. So, I don't know if that was like me just blacking out from trauma. I don't know if that was something to do with whatever they were doing with swaying the weird hum and the light that was pointed at me. I don't know I have no idea. Mm-hmm. And then I woke up in the king size bed, right? In the bed, but I was on top of the covers. I still had most of my suit on. She was under the covers, and she was right next to me. And I was like, hey, so that was weird. And she was like, I don't want to talk about it.
Was she already awake when you woke up?
Yeah. And she was just kind of like looking at me. And I was like panicked, or scared or whatever. And she was, and I was like, so, and she was like, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to ever talk about that. I don't want to ever talk about any of that. And I was like, and she kind of sat there and waited for that to kind of land with me. And I was like, oh, okay, all right. And then she got up and walked out of the room. That was her way of like ending the conversation right then.
I was watching this documentary today. It's a new James Fox documentary about a UFO landing in Brazil in 1996. Holy shit, it's incredible. I had no idea that there's a city called Varginha in Brazil, and in 1996, according to everyone who was there, according to medical records of people who were there, they blocked off, the military came in, cordoned off the area, they recovered a crashed UFO, and there was living creatures that people came in contact with, and one of them was this tiny little thing that this guy carried, and he carried it to wherever they were going to examine it, and when he carried it, he got whatever was on its skin. It had like a slippery kind of skin. It got into his body and infected him, and he wound up with this horrible general infection. He wound up dying. His body shut down. His immune system shut down. His body didn't know what the fuck to do with this alien thing that he was interacting with. There's real records of this guy contacting this thing, grabbing it, carrying it in. All these people witnessed it, and then this guy winds up with this insane infection shortly there afterwards. That's all documented too, all of his medical records.
I honestly, sincerely, unequivocally do not expect any of your audience to believe any of this. Robert Bigelow said to me, "They're walking among us." What do you mean, they're walking among us? I said, they're walking among us. Before I say this, I'm just going to say that this guy legitimately is in a position to know a lot more than I know. He had the government contracts. He had the contacts. He had the intellectual heavyweights in the scientific community all working for him. This guy definitely knows a lot. No question. And the guy's a billionaire. And then the fact that he's hoarding it all and it's under armed guard in a vault at his house kind of pisses me off a little bit. Then he said, "Do you understand the implications of disclosure? The economy would collapse. Organized religion would collapse. That's the impact that this reality would have on the general public." So,
have you ever seen an alien being?
Yes, absolutely. I just turned 18.
In the
I never do any drugs. This was not on LSD in the 70s.
Okay.
This ET I'm talking about, probably about 4 to 5 feet tall, and I was up on this mountain in outside Boone, North Carolina, up in the mountains. And this, at first I thought it was a deer on its hind legs looking at me. He came over and touched my right shoulder so firmly I could see the indentation, and all my hair stood on end. And it was this amazing event that happened. And I think that what the interest of that particular experience, what those ETs was a young guy, 18, who had had a near-death experience, who understood consciousness and understood the central role of what's called in physics entanglement, where everything's connected in the consciousness field, but also in physics. And so in order to understand going from a far distant star system to here, you're not going to do that in a straight line at the speed of light. You're going to do it through understanding what the physicists call non-locality, where nothing has to be fixed in space-time.
Absolutely, aliens exist, but the Bible doesn't use the word aliens. It talks about 4 classes of beings that exist that are not human. According to Ephesians 6:12, these are the 4 types of classes of beings. Number 1, evil rulers. Number 2, authorities of the unseen world. So the Bible lets you know there's another world that exists, but you can't see it. Number 3, mighty powers in this dark world. And number 4, evil spirits in heavenly places. That word heavenly means outer space. These are 4 classes of beings that exist, but we call them aliens. The Bible calls them rulers and evil spirits.
I had an encounter with aliens.
I don't know that I've ever actually given you the audience to elaborate.
Tell the story?
Well, because mostly, you know what? No. Watch this. Watch this. I'm going to listen to your story.
Okay.
Listen to your facts.
Okay.
Your evidence. And then I'll reach a conclusion if you're batshit crazy or if it really happened.
I was 11 years old. I was sleeping in my bed, all cozy. I'm hearing this sound, like a kind of looks like I'm blowing the mic.
You said it. I may have been thinking it.
I'm starting to wake up, and my room is like, the light it's bright, like white, but almost to the point where it's like blue. I look down towards the foot of the bed, and there are 3. Don't laugh at me.
I'm not I'm being completely objective.
There were 3 beings, aliens. I start to freak out as they approach, and they're getting closer and closer to me. And then the light in my room got so bright, I couldn't keep my eyes open anymore. And then,
I'm not going to be happy with that.
Why?
I'm not going to feel comforted.
That's because you haven't experienced it. I'm telling you, I think we talked about this once before, man. It was like I was going home.
UFO landing in Brazil in 1996. Holy shit, it's incredible. I had no idea that there's a city called Varginha in Brazil, and in 1996, according to everyone who was there, according to medical records of people who were there, according to, they blocked off, the military came in, cordoned off the area, they recovered a crashed UFO, and there was living creatures that people came in contact with, and one of them was this tiny little thing that this guy carried, and he carried it to wherever they were going to examine it, and when he carried it, he got whatever was on its skin. It had like a slippery kind of skin. It got into his body and infected him, and he wound up with this horrible general infection. He wound up dying. His body shut down. His immune system shut down. His body didn't know what the fuck to do with this alien thing that he was interacting with. And there's real records of this guy contacting this thing, grabbing it, carrying it in. All these people witnessed it. And then this guy winds up with this insane infection shortly thereafterwards. That's all documented too. All of his medical records.
In the Amazon jungle, an eerie investigation is underway after reports of bizarre occurrences in a village. The locals claim they are being menaced by 7 feet tall armored aliens with large heads and yellow eyes in Peru. Locals describe creatures resembling the Green Goblin from the Spider-Man franchise. These astonishing claims have emerged from the Iquitu indigenous people, residing in the remote district of Alto Nane, northeast of Lima. According to their accounts, a 15-year-old girl was allegedly attacked by one of these mysterious monsters. Desperate to defend themselves, hunters have fired their guns at the creatures, but it appears these beings are immune to human weapons and can vanish at will. Various theories surround these enigmatic sightings, ranging from real extraterrestrial beings to creatures from local folklore. Some speculate that the creatures might be drones camouflaged with cloth and masks, used to frighten the villagers by illegal miners.
Thank you for joining us tonight on the Creepy Collective. As we close another chapter of unexplained phenomena and chilling encounters, remember that the truth is often stranger than fiction. If you have your own mysterious story to share, we encourage you to participate in our giveaway. Details are in the description below. Stay tuned for more unsettling tales, and don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment your thoughts. Until next time, keep your eyes open and stay creepy. This is the Creepy Collective.